In 1821, a Scottish adventurer, General Gregor MacGregor, sailed from the shores of Central America to the United Kingdom. On his travels, he earned a royal title, His Highness Gregor Cacique of Poyais, and he arrived in London with an opportunity of a lifetime. He discovered a new promised land, the country of Poyais. A book, Sketch of the Mosquito Shore, including the territories of Poyais, by an elusive captain, Thomas Strangeways, described rivers lined with globules of pure gold and soil so rich it could yield 3 harvests a year. Gregor MacGregor opened an office in London, unfurled the Poyasian flag, and composed the ballad, The Poyais Immigrant. Your fairy land, O wealth and joy, a home o' rest to bless the weary. We'll all a gang to Poyais together. People could come exchange pounds for Poyais dollars and buy a piece of Poyais itself, as hundreds did. In today's dollars, MacGregor raised over 20 million. There was just one problem. There was no Poyais. That's Honduras. That's Nicaragua. Captain Strangeways was Gregor MacGregor. He made the whole thing up. It was one of the most outlandish scams in history, but it was far from the first or the last.
Most human beings.
If you want to file a complaint, you can go to these websites. And then in the US, it works like this.
When a consumer files a complaint, the complaint is then forwarded mainly to Federal Trade Commission. And the Federal Trade Commission have a database. The database detects patterns of fraud. And then it will point out to law enforcement, this is where these scammers are most likely located.
We'll never know the true number of people hurt by OneCoin. 40% of fraud victims don't tell anybody, not even their friends or family. And only 20% report it to authorities. But these are just estimates, since you can't measure reports that don't exist. That doesn't mean you can't embellish. It's called puffery. It can be acceptable to exaggerate as long as you keep it vague and subjective, or can claim no reasonable buyer would take it seriously. And then the cost of entry fell through the floor.
With the internet age, it becomes much easier to just cast a wide net. And so people who wouldn't necessarily succeed in...
All of these kinds of schemes rely on similar tactics. And they all tend to thrive at certain moments. Moments of change. At the time, Gregor MacGregor made up Poyais. But when the day came when people would be able to turn OneCoin into cash and become rich beyond their wildest dreams, Ruja Ignatova was nowhere to be found. The crypto queen vanished into thin air. She made the whole thing up.